I really hope you guys can hear me over like the road noise and the rain. It's very cold this morning and super rainy. This is just not good weather. And I already know that this drive is going to be terrible because there's a mountain on the way that gets super foggy whenever it rains. So I might die, but you know. Yeah, so it's been over 4 years since my last competition. And I have some goals for this one. But before I get to those, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a story. I started cubing in 2014. I got pretty fast. I got down to like high 7 averages, but in hindsight, I was a 14-year-old who deleted bad solves, so I probably averaged closer to like low 8s. But even then, like in competitions, I would get so nervous and I would just completely mess up all of my solves. And I would get like 10-second averages. So my PR average right now is 9.95 with like an 831 single, I think, which for me at the time was devastating because I thought I deserved a much better average than that. Fast forward to October of 2022, I came across a video of Max Park solving a 6x6 in under 1 minute. And then like a week or so later, Timon got his sub 5 average. So that was when I was like, okay, I'm going to do this cubing thing again, and this time I'm going to do it right, because now I have experience with another sport. I know how to train. I know how to think a little bit better about like competition mentality. So I'm hoping today I'll be able to conquer my nerves. That's my #1 goal. Stay tuned. See if I die, and come along with me on this journey. I'm going to try and keep you guys posted on everything I'm doing before, during, and after all of my rounds. And we'll try and learn some things together. Alright, so I made it. There's supposed to be like a 10-mile race happening today, so we were told on the website to park in a garage that's like a 20-minute walk away, which is a little bit annoying. So now I have to walk through the rain, but luckily I have an umbrella. I did not die. That was good. It was very foggy though. I could literally only see like 50 feet in front of me. They have lights on the side of the road so you can see where the lines are. But yeah, registration opens in like 10 minutes. I don't actually compete until the afternoon, so I've got some time, but wanted to get there early so I could get some B-roll shot and talk to people, warm up, things like that.
So my first event of the day was blindfolded, and I had done maybe 2 hours of practice for this event in total for the entire month leading up to the comp, so I wasn't really expecting much, but I figured since blindfolded is such a high-stakes, stressful event, I should compete in it because it would be a good way to test my ability to control my nerves. I hadn't figured out a good camera angle yet, so they are a little bit out of frame. Forgive me for that one. The first solve was pretty slow. It was a DNF, and I think I did like an extra F move or something somewhere, I'm not really sure. The second solve was a DNF as well. It was a memo mistake, and I ended up with some misoriented corners. The third solve I decided to play it a little bit safe, because I wanted to have at least one success, and I reviewed my memo like multiple times for this one, and it ended up being successful, so it worked. And the time was 2:08, which is pretty average for me, and it actually put me in 5th place overall.
Alright, so I just did my first official solves in almost 4.5 years. First event I competed in was blindfolded. They did Square One and Megaminx in the morning. I got a 2:08 in blind. It was my third solve. The first two, I made a couple like simple mistakes. The next round is 5x5, I think, and then we have one-handed and then 6x6. 6x6 is the only one that I really care about. I haven't practiced OH in like 4 years. So I was doing one-handed practice this morning and was getting like 18s, 19s. I think if I get like a sub 19 average, that would be pretty good. I have like an official 17 average, I think, from many years ago. I don't remember ever being that fast, but I guess I was. And 6x6, sub 210 mean would be cool. I don't know if I'm going to get that. I haven't practiced 6x6 in a bit. Like I said, my main goal for this comp is pretty much just to be able to control my nerves. And I was able to do that during blind. One event down, like 3 to go for today.
I've practiced 5x5 a good amount, so I did actually care about my results for this comp. I was hoping for something like a 115 average. My first solve was pretty shaky and slow, so when I finished edge pairing, I glanced at the timer and saw I was only at 56 seconds, and I got really excited, and that solve ended up being a 110. The next solve did not go nearly as well. I was still pretty shaky. And this third solve was the first in the entire comp where I'd managed to actually breathe in entirely before the solve, which makes me wonder if I have asthma or something, because I've always struggled with breathing all the way in, but anyway. The fourth solve didn't go as well, and I actually ended up plus 2ing, so I needed my next solve, the last one of the average, to be around 110, 111 to have a good average. And once again, I managed to take an entire breath before inspection. And I got a 108. So the average ended up being 113 point something, and I was really happy with that. So then we did one-handed, which, well, I'll just let that speak for itself. So it turns out if you don't practice this event for like 5 years, you aren't going to do very well in it. Who would have thought? But I think this average kind of helped take the pressure off a little bit for the rest of the comp, and afterwards I had a little bit of time to warm up for 6x6, so I was feeling pretty good.
So that was a lot. From the time blindfolded started at like 1 p.m. until the time 6x6 ended, which was like 5 or 5:30, something like that, I was either competing or judging or running, and had like no breaks in between. Something funny did happen with 6x6 though. A couple hours before 6x6, I'm warming up for 6x6 because I didn't care about one-handed. So I'm judging 5x5 and had my 6x6 there because sometimes you don't have a competitor. Don't solve while you're judging though. If the competitor is solving, don't solve. PSA there. But when I didn't have any competitors, I was doing some 6x6 solves, and then one time I just picked it up and I was missing a center cap, which was super weird. Long story short, I spent like 20 minutes looking for it, couldn't find it, found someone who lent me a center cap, competed in 6x6, and then like 3 minutes after the round ended, someone found the center cap and gave it back to me. So now I don't have to buy a new 6x6, but that's a little bit annoying, and I was kind of stressed out for a little bit there. So my average for 6x6 ended up being not actually all that great. I got like a 218 or something, which is fine considering I really haven't practiced it in a few weeks, and the whole like center cap debacle. But that's fine because, like I said at the beginning, my main goal for this competition was just to be able to control my nerves, and I actually feel like I did that pretty well.
I didn't feel nervous at all during those solves, those 6x6 solves. I was really just kind of stressed because of what had happened. And overall today, I really felt like I was able to handle my nerves pretty well, because after blindfolded, that success I got on my third solve, that felt good. I was a little bit stressed going into it and kind of nervous, but I kind of just took it slow. Really made sure I had my memo down. Probably could have like gotten it sub 150 if I was going full throttle on my memo there, but I do remember like rememorizing edges just in case. And then there were a couple 5x5 solves that I was definitely a little bit shaky on, but for my third and fifth solve for 5x5, I did a really good job at handling my nerves, and even with my nerves, I was still able to get a really good average for me. Not like a really good average, but better than I was expecting to get. It was like a 113 or something. I came, I think, 13th place. I actually came in 5th for blind, which is that's kind of funny, given that I don't practice blind. I've never practiced blind, and I don't know if I ever will practice blind. It's a really hard event. Now, of course, today I was doing mostly events that I don't care that much about, except for 6x6. Tomorrow's going to be the real test. Tomorrow is 3x3, which of course is my main event, and that's the one that if I'm going to be nervous for anything, I'm going to be nervous for 3x3. I'm feeling pretty good. I was doing a lot of 3x3 solves today, just at the table, like when I had time, and I was getting a lot of like sub 8 or low 8 averages. With StackMat, with other people around, all the noise, all the chaos, everything, I was still getting like pretty consistently good times for myself. So if I can manage to handle my nerves well tomorrow like I did today during 3x3, I think I might be able to get like a sub 8.3 average, which would be pretty cool. But again, my main goal is just to be able to handle my nerves. If I can do that, I don't really care. Right? I could just get really unlucky scrambles and get like a 9 average, and as long as I'm not super shaky and my solves feel smooth and my look ahead is good and everything, I'd be pretty happy with that. It all came down to this. The first event of day 2, 3x3 round 1. Would I be able to control my nerves in the event I cared about the most? I sat down, did my best job to take a deep breath, wiped the sweat off my hands, and got a 7.83. I felt really good going into the next solve, but got a little bit unlucky and got a low 9. And then here I did probably the most important thing you can do in a situation like this. You can't change the past, so just focus on your next solve, try to do better on the next one. So I stayed composed, focused, and got an 8. My average was still on track. The fourth solve though, I just could not for the life of me breathe before inspection. And I'm not gonna lie, it might have caused a little bit of panic for a moment, which probably just made the problem worse. So the solve ended up being super shaky and I got a 10. I needed a sub 9.4 on this last solve for my average to be sub 9. Would I be able to pull it off? And I got an 8.89, giving me an average of 8.82, which was a PR by 1.13 seconds. And I was ecstatic.
Sean, say hi to the vlog.
Yo, what's up?
How'd you do in 2x2? Did you compete in 2x2?
I didn't compete.
Nice. I got a 5 average.
Nice. That's pretty good.
I got a 6, and then Ryland walked by. I was like, hey, I got a 6. He's like, isn't that what you average on 3x3? I was like, yeah, almost.
I was gonna say that's only.
Say hi to the vlog. These are some of our organizers.
Hi, YouTube. And
What'd you get on 3x3?
on 3x3?
Yeah.
Like an 8.8 or something?
Okay, I got 882.
Wait, let me see if I beat you. Aha, I did. You had 882 and I had 878.
0.04.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Next round, hopefully I'll get like 8.4. I think I'd be pretty happy with like 8.4.
Yeah.
I was scrambling 2 by 2, and Pierce was like, "You're in charge of lunch."
What do you mean in charge of
I'm
lunch?
just-
In charge of staff lunch.
Oh.
The next event I competed in was 3x3 round 2, and at this point I had successfully gotten a decent average and I had controlled my nerves pretty well throughout the comp, so now I wanted to see how much farther I could push myself. Could I break my 3x3 average again? Well, I got a 9.07, so if that was going to happen, I would need to make it happen in finals, which meant I was only going to have one more chance to get a good average. Granted, I hadn't really warmed up for round 2 very well, so this probably played kind of a big role. Well, hold on, what is going on in this scramble? If you take a look at this scramble, you'll see that we have this huge block right here. This cross edge just needs to go here. We have our other cross edge here, and the red cross edge is right here. This is one of the easiest X crosses I have ever seen. In the competition, I solved it just like this. And even though this solve had a super easy X cross, I still ended up getting a bad time because I messed up my last layer quite a bit. This solve should have been a low 7 because it was so easy, so I'm a little bit upset about that, but it is what it is. So even though my 9.07 average wasn't very good for me, it was good enough to make the final round. My first solve in finals was a 10. This meant if I wanted to break my PR again, I would not be able to get another bad solve. The rest of the average had to be good. I wasn't allowed any more mistakes. And as I'm sure you can imagine, this is a lot of pressure. I had to do 4 really good solves in a row. The second solve, I took my time before inspection, continued to focus on breathing, made sure my hands were dry, and made sure that I was in a good mental state, ready to focus on the next solve. And it was a 7.91. And I felt pretty good after the solve, not gonna lie. It was like a huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I just needed to do that 3 more times, right? The next 2 solves were 8s, which are pretty average, nothing remarkable.
Zane. Kyle.
So it all came down to the last solve. I needed a low 8 for it to be a sub 8.5 average.
Ari.
I knew it could have been a low to mid 7, but I was so relieved that the average was good that I didn't care. It ended up being 8.54, and I had broken my PR average twice in one day, and it put me in 8th place.
Review the comp.
You know, we did okay. I think we hit basically every incident in the books, but we handled it. And minus this, we've been pretty on schedule.
That's true. By minus this, he means we don't have certificates for awards.
Yeah, it is now late. And there's another
When
group
we're
coming into
awards-
this building in like 25 minutes.
Oh, damn. We could instead just, yeah, I can't think of anything.
I'll just write it on a piece of paper. I'll just say.
I was gonna
congrats.
say just give out the stack mat timers, like as awards. Like
Yeah,
with
I'm sure
dis-
that's in the
display and
WCA
everything.
budget.
Yeah, the WCA can definitely afford that. They're like a large organization. Are you gonna host another one next year?
We're gonna try it.
Nice. John, describe the comp in 7 words. No, 6 words, one for each side.
Absolutely fantastic, fun-filled, fun-filled. Swagger,
Wasn't expecting that one.
love, community.
Okay, that wasn't really a sentence, but I mean it counts, so we can
No,
work
it's
with it.
straight from the heart.
Yeah, it was very heartfelt,
Hey.
very meaningful.
Rylan, come here. Six words.
Describe the comp in 6 words.
I will strangle Ray Bai soon.
6
That is
months. Okay, so it's recap time. First comp back in 4 years. My main goal, like I said, was just to control my nerves. And I definitely did that. I was very successful at doing that. Still got a little bit to go. You know, there's some room for improvement there. But I did honestly way better than I was expecting to. Overall, I competed in 5 events, I think, and I got 8 PRs. I PR'd my 3x3 average twice. My second round average was actually quite bad. I got a 907, which is, that was really bad for me. Honestly, I think it was mostly just that I didn't really warm up too well for that round. Finals though, I pulled through with an 8.54, and I sort of had like a side quest for this competition of getting a sub 8.5 average. So I was really close to doing that. The first solve of that average was a 10. It was super sloppy, it was really bad. And then I got a 7 and then 3 8s. So I'm honestly really happy with my 3x3 results at this comp. All day when I was like doing 3x3 solves, just warming up and things, I was getting like 8.2, 8.3, 8.4 averages. So I'm not upset with an 8.5 at all. There's a lot for me to take away from this competition. A lot of things went very well. A lot of things went not quite as well, but you know, good to like learn from your mistakes and try and, you know, implement them into your training. Implement those lessons. Don't implement mistakes. Let's see where I'm at for nationals. I'm quite excited for Nats this summer. I think there's a good chance that I'll be doing pretty well. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you'll be notified of videos I post in the future. As always, keep on solving.